Well, it's Sunday night. That means we're doing Apex's P Cup Porsche Cup racing. Welcome. This week we head to the world famous Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. This track features 10 turns, which are going to be real challenging to our drivers, as you can see on screen there. It is raining this evening. We've got 19-degree air temp, 19-degree track temp, 18% chance of rain out there right now, but you can see that it's raining. It's a little more than 18% chance, but track right now status moderately wet, so our driver's going to have to put on some rain tires this evening. As I mentioned, Red Bull Ring, there's 10 turns here. Track record actually set by Carlos Sainz Jr., otherwise known as just Carlos Sainz right now, as his father's not racing. In 2020, while driving for McLaren, Red Bull Ring is known for its dramatic elevation changes, making it one of the most visually stunning circuits in Formula One. Additionally, it boasts excellent grandstand visibility, allowing fans to witness action packed from nearly every vantage point. It's a short lap, but it's going to have a big impact here, especially with their drivers trying to keep the car on track. Red Bull Ring, famous across iRacing for accruing a ton of off tracks. Very easy to rack up a whole bunch of off tracks here. Only 10 corners, but the off tracks are really tight on iRacing. But wait for a few times to come in from our drivers. So while we got a moment here, let's just take a quick look at our championship standings, as we do have a championship boiling down here. This is week 9 of 12. So after this race, only 3 more weeks for our drivers to try and accrue as many points as they possibly can. So let's first up take a look at our championship standings in the Porsche Cup side of things. We see Mark Miller has pipped Brian Zinn off top spot. Zinn not at last week's race, so interesting to see back again this week if he can regain his position up top of the championship points. 1 point separating Miller and Zinn for top spot. Overall, Lemke in 3rd place, 65 points. Richard Swindell is currently occupying 4th place, so nice showing by Swindell. Is not out here this evening, though. He's going to give up a ton of points here, so we'll have to see how that goes for him. He chose to watch hockey instead. Frankly, I'm a little jealous, I gotta say. But there's the rest of the standings there showing up on screen. Let's take a quick look over at the Cayman side of things, where Spencer Beaudoin with a firm hold on top spot. Right now, he is 19 points up on Kent Kruger in 2nd spot. Kent only 3 points up on Aaron Sunday and Oz Sexulu, locked in a dead tie for 3rd place. Sean Dieter only 1 spot back, so still plenty of movement potentially happening in the Cayman side of things. And I mentioned this is week 9. Let's take a quick look at the schedule here to see where we've been and where we're going to be heading to. As hold on here, that's not the right schedule. That's the schedule right here that we want. There we go. So we started out at Silverstone, made our way to Monza. After that, Imola for round 3. VIR took us to round 4. Alton Park was round 5. Road Atlanta was round 6. Circuit the Spa was round 7. Daytona was round 8. That was last week. Red Bull Ring this week. Next week we head to Jose Carlos Pace, otherwise known as Interlagos. Watkins Glen for round 11, and we're going to wrap everything up at WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway. So we got a few times coming in now. Let's we can join our drivers on track. Hop on board here with Morgan Smith, currently leading the way in qualifying 1:45.7. Up top of the qualifying standings. Looks like Morgan's going to pull it into the pits, call it a day on his qualification. As he does that, Zinn going to go around for another lap and quickly take away that spot from Morgan Smith. Up top, looks like Lemke's going to finish up too as well. Mark Miller currently sitting in 4th place, but look at this. Daniel Zippy Salmon currently in 5th place in qualifying right now. It'd be interesting to see if he manages to keep the car on track the entire race, or if he's got to use up one of the fast pairs. We like ragging on Zippy just because it's fun, and he gets to get us back later on in the week during other broadcasts. He still hasn't listened to me though about changing the color of the font on the door for Pit Road Productions, or putting like a black box in behind it so it stands out a little more. Either way, he got himself in. Oh, he's dropped down to 7th now as a few more times come in. As I say, that Joseph Mara makes his way up to the top of the standings, currently with a 1:45.0. That's 4 tenths quicker than Brian Zinn in 2nd place. Ozek Sulu currently top of the GT4 standings with a 151.7. Cooper in second place, 1/10 back, well, just under 2/10, I guess. In second place, Roman Bykov currently holding down third spot in the Cayman class. We pick up Jonathan Cooper here. Looks like Coop midway through another lap here. Our drivers with just over 3 minutes to go in qualifying, 10 minutes or 4 laps, whichever comes first for the drivers. So it looks like Coop here now on lap number 3, it appears. So see if he's able to put it a time. Big dog Kent Kruger, looks like Kent's paint. I don't know if he changed it or he just didn't load the right paint here this week. Let's quickly reload trading paints here to make sure we've got correct paint loaded up for Kent. Normally he's got his traditional Apex, this Minecraft kind of theme paint on, but doesn't look like he's got it on right now. But Brian's in, current second place driver. We saw him pull off, pop back into the pits, so we'll see if he's going to try for another one more quick lap here. Currently sitting in second place, Jesse Meager in the Red Bull car at Red Bull Ring. Kind of fitting, goes hand in hand, I guess. But Meager currently sitting just inside the top 10 in P9. He's quite a ways back, almost 2 seconds back now from our leader. But looks like Meager heading into the final corner. You can see the water starting to puddle out in some of these corners. It's gonna be a little tricky in that last corner, turn 10, where you're coming down a hill trying to cut to the right. It's already easy enough to get an off track through there as it is, but you get some water puddling up there and our drivers start to hydroplane through that corner, and we'll see a whole lot of wrecks very quick. Definitely the off tracks will accrue, so it'll be interesting to see if any of our drivers get a drive-through penalty here this evening for breaching the incident limits. On board here with Brian Lemke. Lemke currently in, where's Lemke? 4th place right now in the qualifying. Trying to have a good performance here to get himself some points in the championship standings. Currently up near the top, but I believe it was Lemke who was tied with, oh man, who was he tied with? It'll come to me. Old age starting to kick in, but he's definitely going to want to try and pull in as many points as he possibly can here to close down that gap on the battle up ahead of him. But currently in 4th place, looks like Zinn was able to knock Joseph Marr off top spot with that 1 extra lap. It's going to put him just ahead by, looks like we've got about 6/10, almost 7/10 between Zinn and Marr. Our leader in GT4, Ozek Sulu, looks like he's going to call it quits. Chris Miller, we haven't seen him for a number of weeks in GT4. He's back again now. Currently sitting in 6th place in the GT4 side of things. 10 seconds to go left in qualifying, and then we will have a look at where everybody sorts out as far as qualifying goes. But Lemke was 1 point behind Joseph Marr. That's what I was trying to remember. So that's a battle for top 5 positioning in the standings, and I might actually have to take a look. Looks like Richard Swindell is actually in 5th for some reason, was showing him at 4th, so we're giving him extra credit. So boo Richard for not showing up this evening. But that's it for qualifying. Let's take a quick look here at the, oops, we don't want that, we want this one here. There we go. Brian's in top spot. Now Joseph Marr to his outside. Morgan Smith, Brian Lemke going to make up row 2. Mark Miller in 5th. Jesse Meager in 6th. Make up row 3. Row 4 is going to find Justin Atchison in 7th. Zippy Salmon in 8th. Rob Phelan in 9th. Wesley Cottonor in 10th. And Fozzie Fazillo going to round out the Porsche Cup side of things. And then we're going to jump to our Cayman class, where Ozek Sulu has taken pole. Spencer Baudouin in 2nd place. John Cooper and Kent Kruger are going to make up row 2. Roman Bykov and Chris Miller are going to make up row 3. So as we wait for our drivers to grid up, let's see if we can take a quick look at the weather here, see if it's changing. Right now, only 1% chance of rain. You can see the rain has stopped. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a pause in the rain here for the rest of the race. It's just to see which of our drivers choose to go on rain tires and which of them have chosen to go with potentially wets. Taking a gamble here, but just waiting for the rest of the drivers to grid up, and then we'll be getting underway. Our traditional 35-minute race. Fuel tanks are limited. The drivers will have to make a pit stop at least 1 point time during the race. They do have a quick repair if they do get into some sort of catastrophe out there. Oh, there we go. The rain is back again. So that little reprieve has gone by the wayside. It's back to being a full-on rain race. I suspect most of our drivers will have rain tires on. Let's see, I don't know if I have a option to show what the tires they're wearing. Here it is. Oh, maybe I do. Hold on here. There we go. So it looks like if all is right on our timing and scoring, looks like Rob Phelan is rolling the dice out there on rain tires or dry tires, but he didn't grid up. Potential pit lane start for him. Doesn't look like Fazillo, Phelan, or Cotner gridded up, so we'll see if they make the grid. All said and done, we are heading to the line here. It'll be a matter of time before our drivers are rip roaring ready to go. They have to wait for the green flag. We'll see if Barney is working this evening. He's got the flag out. See if he wants to wave it. We're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting, and we're green. Hey, there you go, Barney. Way to wave that flag. Good job, fella. And there goes the Caymans. And we're off into turn one. Looks like Zinn gonna hold on to his position. Joseph Marr trying to find a way around the outside. Better run out of turn one for Marr. He's gonna take that P1 position away from Brian Zinn as they head down the straight through the little bend in that straight. They call it turn two. Don't ask me why. Into turn three here. See if Zinn's able to fight back on the inside. He's going to tuck in behind Marr. Oh, Jesse Meager coming in like a wrecking ball. Miley Cyrus would be proud of that move. Deep on the outside, almost clears out Daniel Salmon, but gets it slowed up. Salmon to his inside now. We might have a 3 wide. Justin Ashton looked like he was making a move up the inside. He backs out of it though. They are going to go 3 wide here though. Now is Meager looking to the inside. Atchison looking to the inside. He's going to drift out a little wide towards Meager. He's going to get it gathered up, but so far so good. All of our cars look like they're still on track. Cooper goes a little wide. It's going to cost him a couple spots. Roman Bykoff now up into 3rd place. He's just in behind Spencer Beaudoin, our leader in the Cayman class. Beaudoin would love to get up ahead of Ozek Sulu to gain some more points, championship points, to open up his gap even further in the GT4 class. Back up top, Joseph Marr is still leading the way. Brian Zinn trying to take a different line. They would call that the wet line. Try and stay off the rubbered in line as much as you can. The rubbered area gets real slick in the rain. See our drivers heading into the final corner for the first time. Really slowly having to navigate that corner, not wanting to get any off tracks. Closest battle right now looks like it's this one right here. Lemke leading the way in 4th place. You got Mark Miller, Daniel Salmon, Justin Atchison close in behind him. Looks like Miller going to try and make a move up the inside of Lemke. Not close enough to try and outbrake him, but Daniel Salmon late on the brakes, trying to make a move around the outside of Mark Miller. Now it's a drag race down into turn 3. Miller has the advantage. Salmon going to tuck over, try and get a little bit of draft, but that spray is going to take away pretty much any visibility he'd have there. Let's see if we can go on board here and see what kind of conditions that Salmon would look. Oh, he gets a little bump from Mark Miller on the inside there. Now it's a short drag strip race here again down into turn 5. Again, this little bend in the corner they call turn 5. So some of the number corner naming conventions here a little off at Red Bull Ring, but you really only have about 5 or 6 corners. They call it 10 corners, but realistically 5 or 6 corners. But see Salmon give Miller a little bump on the back bumper there, but Lemke a little slow through that corner. It's going to allow Miller and Salmon to close up that gap. A little bit of an opening there on the inside for Miller to possibly throw the nose in there. Thinks better of it. Didn't want to have to get later on the brakes, potentially risk hydroplaning and pushing out into Lemke there. Lemke going a little wider. Lemke really taking a wide alternate rain line here where Miller and Salmon holding a little tighter line A little closer to the traditional race line here. You see Miller getting out on the curbing. That's going to throw his car off to the opposite side. So it's a gathered back up here, risking going off track. Sometimes you get onto those curbs, it just snaps the rear end of the car around. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. So this battle's going to stabilize here for a little bit. Let's pop back up to the front. So we see Zin unable to make a charge on Joseph Marr a little later in the brake zone there. But looks like Marr again getting out of turn one a little quicker than Zin getting in. While they battle though, Morgan Smith not too far behind. As we go on board here with Morgan Smith there, you can see nothing but spray up ahead. Kind of hard to mount a charge whenever all you can see is just water being thrown up in front of you. Looks like Morgan with a new paint scheme this week. That WBM We Build Memories racing machine. Sharp looking paint job on that one. So we got a move here in GT4 class as we've refreshed Kent's paint, and it's still not showing his traditional paint. So I wonder if Kent just didn't load up his training paints this week, but trying to make a move up in the inside of Roman Bykov. Bykov getting through or in and out of turn three a little quicker than Kent Kruger. He's going to pull away. They've got Rob Fellon, who started from the pit lane trying to make a move in around. That's the Porsche Cup car. He's going to go wide off into turn five. Looks like Bykov went wide too as well. Kruger going to get a run through the inside here. So we'll see if Kent's able to finish this move off. Roman Bykov going to have the inside line into the next corner. See him drift a little wide. Kent taking a little more of a late apex maneuver into that corner. He's going to get a better run through there, but Bykov able to hold him off into the braking zone. These two continue to battle it out, but it's up front, like Mark Miller trying to hold off Daniel Salmon. We've seen these two battling basically from the drop of the green flag. Salmon showing the nose into turn one, trying to force a mistake from Miller, force him out wide. Miller not biting at this point in time as he's got Lemke up ahead, so he's trying to charge out the windshield, but also defend out of his rear view mirrors too as well. So interesting to see how long Mark Miller is able to endure the pressure from Salmon, all while trying to be on the offensive against Brian Lemke up ahead. We see Miller go a little deep into the corners. Salmon looks to the inside, tries to get back into the throttle a little earlier. You saw the back end wiggle on that Porsche Cup, but Daniel Salmon, unfortunately for him, unable to get the grip into those rear tires to accelerate out of that corner to make that move on Mark Miller. Miller's going to hold on to that spot again. You see the three different lines from these three different drivers into this corner. Lemke taking a much wider berth into almost every corner. Some of the corners it does well. From a couple of the other corners, he seems to lose a ton of time to those two cars in behind. We'll see if he adjusts his lines here as the race goes on. Okay, let's check back in on our leaders. See Brian Zinn still trying to mount a charge here on Joseph Marr. Just kind of keeping the pressure on, trying to force a mistake here. Really not putting a ton of aggression into any kind of moves here. Just kind of shows the nose, lets him know he's there. See Morgan Smith in the background going out wide. Oh, Morgan Smith almost lost the tail end up on that curbing. Saw that car kind of wiggle and dart off to the right. Nice save there by Morgan Smith. It's going to cost him a bunch of time though. That three-car battle for fourth place is catching up behind him now as you see Mark Miller trying to make a move on the outside. Lemke gets to compromise both of their exits there. There's Daniel Zippy Salmon is going to be the benefactor of that. He's tucked up tight behind Lemke. He's also going to have the inside line into turn three. We'll see if this is finally where Salmon's able to make that move stick on Mark Miller. As they got Morgan Smith up ahead. He doesn't want to see those three cars charging up behind him. Lemke fighting to the inside. Miller getting a strong run through the outside again. Zippy Salmon not able to make that move and finish it off. But when they continue to battle, Justin Atchison, Jesse Meager are going to join up this battle. Now we're going to have a 5-car battle for fourth place. You see again Mark Miller looking to the outside. Lemke drifting wide. Again, that he's taking the option Well, I guess not really option line, but taking more of a wide berth on almost every corner. We see that one there is a corner where he's losing a ton of time to Mark Miller. It's going to allow Miller to stay tight up on the back bumper. Salmon running a little closer to the curbs. Atchison and Meager running a little closer to the curb. We're only 8.5 minutes into this one. Still plenty of time to go. 27 minutes, or not, yeah, 27 minutes left to go in this one for our drivers. We still have to see all of them come in for pit stops. I don't think they can save enough fuel even in the rain with running the slower lap times where they're approximately, let's see, I ran some officials this week. Most of them were in the rain. One of them was in the dry. I think we were running 132 lap times in the dry. So these guys are running 144. So they're about 12 seconds slower than a dry lap time. In a dry race, they would definitely have to pit by somewhere around the 25-minute mark, 27-minute mark. So they might be able to push it. If somebody can save some fuel here for a couple laps, they might actually be able to push it and not need to pit. But looks like they've caught Morgan Smith now. And this battle goes from 3rd place all the way back to 8th place now in Porsche Cup. So real tight battle. We don't really have much going on in GT4 class. Oh, I say that. Rowan Bykoff's going to go a little wide. That's going to allow Kent Kruger to look up the inside. Rob Fellin's still trying to find a way around this GT4 battle. It's safe to say I don't think Rob Fallon is a fan of the Porsche Cup and rain here this evening. But he's finally gotten around them. He'll try and chase up to the rest of his comrades in Porsche Cup up ahead. But I mentioned that up front, Spencer Bodway and Jonathan Cooper, a couple of buddies, got themselves together on track. See if they can work together to chase down Oz Xulu. Oz now opened up 4 seconds over 2nd place Spencer Bodway. So Oz doing what he needs to do to try and gain some championship points. But back up to that battle for 3rd spot. Kind of stagnant. All of our drivers kind of still in the same spot. We're really seeing varying lines between these three here, Lemke, Miller, and Salmon. Nobody really seems to gain an advantage over the others, but Morgan Smith slower through that section. It's going to cost him a bunch of time to those 3 cars behind. Well, this pack battles, it's allowing our leaders to really open up a gap up ahead. As we see Miller getting a little bit of a slower exit out of the final corner. Salmon going to look up to his inside here. We'll see if he makes the move into turn 1. As we see this battle coming into turn 1. All of our cars really just pushing down there. You can see them, that run down the hill. That's kink up to the right-hand side is what they call turn 2. This is turn 3 they're heading into. There goes our 2 leaders. Here comes that battle for 3rd to 9th place. See the rain coming back again. Here we go. All of them running into the braking zone. Miller looks to the inside. Oh, he's going to tag Lemke. That's not how we prefer passes to be made, but it's going to put them 3 wide. Sippy Sandin looking to the inside. He's going to pull over and try and get some draft off Mark Miller. The 2 of them on the inside line. He's going to cut over in front of Lemke. He was clear. Lemke trying to fight back on the inside. Mark Miller is going to move himself up into 4th place. I'm not sure if the stewards will be reviewing that move by Mark Miller, but we here could take another look at it. Oh, actually, it looked like Lemke might have got into the back of Morgan Smith first. Let's see if we can take another look at that from Lemke here. Yeah, he did tag Morgan Smith, so I think Mark Miller will be free and clear of that. I retract my statement. But now Miller having to hold off Daniel Salmon. Salmon looking to the left side, trying to make a move around the outside of turn 10. This is a dangerous spot to go too wide in the rain. It's dangerous to go too wide in the dry, but they're going to make it stick and carry on. Nice maneuver by both of those drivers. Daniel Salmon up 4 spots into 4th place, our hard charger of the race. I popped in and told him don't wreck this time. So maybe that gave him a little bit of go get him attitude. Now he's trying to chase down his buddy Morgan Smith up ahead. Just take a look back from Smith. You can see that spray getting thrown up on the front end of Salmon. He's going to move to the left, try and get out of the spray. Mark Miller diving deep on the brakes, late on the brakes into turn 3. That's going to compromise his exit a little bit. That's going to allow Lemke to close that gap back up. Lemke down 2 spots where he qualified. He's definitely going to want to recoup those positions as soon as he can. So we see Atchison and Meager holding on to the back of this pack. They haven't really been able to attempt any maneuvers here yet, but now we see Atchison into that braking section of turn 5, really closing up on Lemke, but Lemke getting out of the corner a lot quicker than Atchison. That's where we're seeing Lemke going a little wide. He's compromising a little bit of his time into the corners, but it's allowing him to get back into the throttle, exiting out of the corners. Richard Swindell's in chat saying, hopefully Zippy saves enough fuel he doesn't need to pit, otherwise he's going to lose. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the fuel calculations are working out right now, Rich. We'll have to see. I think if our drivers save enough, they could probably get through without pitting. And to be honest with you, I think that's what is going on up front. I think Brian Zinn is actually content staying in behind Joseph Mara here, although we see them taking opposite lines here. And I mentioned that Zinn showing the front end, left side, right side, back to the left side, trying to force a mistake from Joseph Mara. Joseph not biting at this point in time, but it looks like Zinn getting a better run out of turn 1. Now it's drag race down to turn 3. Zinn's going to have the inside line too as well, so if he can hold on to this position into turn 3, he should be able to take back top spot in this one. Mara's going to try and fight him around the outside. Zinn's on the inside, going to force him out wide. Mara can't quite get back into the throttle as quickly as he'd like to up on that curbing. You really risk spinning up the rear tires and snapping the rear end around. So that's going to put Brian Zinn back up top of this one, but it looks like Joseph Mara not ready just to be content with moving back to second place. We'll see if he's able to try and work another charge here up on Brian Zinn. If I was Joseph right now, I'd be just staying there tucked in for another 10-15 minutes or so, trying to save fuel. But try to explain that to these guys in seasons past. Nobody wants to listen, though. Nobody wants to listen. Back to the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Morgan Smith still holding down final step on the podium, although Daniel Salmon now has caught up to the back bumper of Morgan Smith. You see there, heading into turn 9. Salmon putting a ton of pressure, almost even touching the tailpipe of Morgan Smith, trying to get him off his game. Salmon with a better run out of that final corner. He's going to have the inside line into turn 1. We'll see if Daniel Salmon able to make this move stick on his buddy Morgan Smith. Say Morgan fights back on the outside. Daniel unwilling to throw it up the inside and try and make that pass stick, so he'll have to settle for staying in 4th place as it stands. Doesn't look like he's going to get enough for a run here to make a move into turn 3. Behind them, we see Lemke getting back around Mark Miller. That's going to move him back up into 5th place. That's going to drop Miller back 1 spot to 6th. Justin Atchison looming in behind now. I'm sure he's just licking his chops watching these cars move around up ahead, but unable to get close enough to make a move. Let's take a look at our GT4 field. Ozik Sulu still leading the way. That gap coming down now, though, it's only 3.5 seconds. It was 4 seconds last time we checked. So the two buddies, Beaudoin and Cooper, are working together here, not battling. Not really drafting off each other, though, as Jonathan Cooper still on the edge of draft, about 8-9 tenths of a second back of, I guess we could turn the tire compound off here. There we go. Top speed. Click the right buttons, man. There we go. See, Jonathan Cooper just over 1 second back now, so down through that straight, he lost the draft on Spencer Beaudoin. So we'll see if Coop's able to close back up on Beaudoin. You can see Jonathan Cooper in behind him in the red car. Just behind him, Kent Kruger. Nice run for Kent so far, up 2 spots into 4th in GT4. He's gotten around Roman Bykov. Bykov up 2 spots too as well. So we're nearing the halfway mark there now, or just past the halfway mark. Our leaders up front, looks like they're still battling it out. As I mentioned, I'm not sure why Joseph Meyer is trying to regain top spot, unless they are well within the no pit stop territory right now. But like I said, I don't have a glimpse into the fuel calculator to see what they're using, but I would be just content staying behind Zinn. They've got almost an 8-second gap over third place here. There's really no need to fight at this point in time. Save the fuel, try and no stop the race, and then work for a move later on. Take a look back here from Zinn's rear wing. See the wiper just working away on Joseph Meyer's car. He's pretty much staying right in the spray zone. That tire spray coming off of Brian Zinn's car up ahead. Oh, like a deep lunge there by Joseph Meyer into the last corner. Thought for a second he was going to gather up the tail end of Brian Zinn, but able to get that car gathered up and hold on to it. But let's check back in our battle here for third place. So Daniel Salmon still unable to find a way around Morgan Smith up ahead. You see that 5-car pack. I'm wondering right now if they're not, I guess it's a tough call. I was going to say, if they're not going to be able to no stop the race, if Daniel Salmon might be better off to try and undercut Morgan Smith. But again, not knowing whether they're going to have enough fuel savings in the rain that they won't need to stop here. And that advantage gets thrown out the window. But Justin Atchison making a move around Mark Miller and Brian Lemke into turn 3. See something happened to Mark Miller. Let's take a quick look at the replay here to see Mark Miller in that red and black car on the inside closest to the camera. So he just comes to a complete stop almost. Oh, he gets loose. Exiting the corner that allows Justin Atchison to move around the outside. Let's move him up ahead of Lemke and Miller. Let's see if we can see where Atchison moves around Lemke to as well. So Atchison's going to get Lemke out of turn 1. Lemke has the bail, goes a little wide. Can't get into the throttle as quick as he can, but that's going to allow Atchison to move in there. So I mentioned earlier on, it looks like he wasn't able to make a move, kind of just lingering in behind, but I don't know if he's listening to the stream or not, and he thought I'll show him and make a couple moves, but now he's got Daniel Salmon up ahead 1.3 seconds. Salmon unable to find a way around Morgan Smith still, so we saw him catch up to Morgan Smith quickly, but unable to find those extra couple tenths that he needed to make a move. Oh no, it looks like our GT4 leader has crashed as well as P2. Oz Xulu, let's see what happened to him. Oz had a 3.5 second gap over second place. It's like heading into turn 3. Oh, he didn't crash, but he had to come to an almost complete stop into that corner. Flagged him as a crash. Spencer Bodway and Jonathan Cooper. Coop caught up to the back of Bodway here fairly quick that last lap. Looked like similar situation here. Bodway just throws it in deep, almost comes to a complete stop. Gets himself flagged for a crash. I don't know, something else might have happened to Mark Miller again here. This might be another similar situation here heading into turn 3. Oof, almost gets tagged by Jesse Beeger. So, needless to say, it looks like Mark Miller not his rain tires on the rear end of that Porsche, not happy, unable to get back into the throttle as quick as he'd like to. But Morgan Smith now opening up 1.2 seconds over Daniel Salmon. So Morgan finding a little more pace here as the race goes on in the rain, getting a little more comfortable as it goes on here. Salmon starting to fall back. Again, potentially if this is fuel saving, we don't know. We're unable to tell. Because even if we hop into the car in the cockpit view, and it's not going to show us their fuel load at all, but you can hear how gingerly they have to get on the throttle and use the brakes into that final corner. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't show us what kind of fuel load they have when we pop in with the cockpit. iRacing just wants us to be stuck out here in the dark. Looks like Roman Bykov had an off track here. Oh, he's going to get out on the wet stuff. You see him hydroplaning through the final corner. You see that puddled up water there. Oh, Morgan Smith locks up the tires. This is going to allow Zippy Salmon up to the inside. Atchison thought about sticking his nose up there too. Oh no, Smith's going to lose it again. Oh, it's all gone wrong for Morgan Smith. Into turn 3, he's going to drop from 3rd place all the way back to 7th place. That's how quick things can change in the rain, especially in Porsche Cup. No ABS, no traction control on these cars, so very easy to lock up the front tires in the rain and then want to get right back into the throttle to make up the time that you just lost. And we saw what happens right there with Morgan Smith. So we know Smith has some pace. He was in 3rd spot. As re-qualified, he was holding on to that position. He was able to move his way back up through the field, but that's going to promote Daniel Salmon up into 3rd place, our hard charger of the day right now, up 5 spots. And then our next biggest mover, Justin Atchison, just behind him, 3 spots on the day into 4th. So a couple drivers moving up ahead of their qualifying position. Definitely getting more comfortable in the rain as this race goes on for these two. Like we lost timing and scoring here for a moment, so we'll quickly reload that up. And we can get back to seeing where the battles are. There we go. We're back up with timing and scoring. And look at the rain caused an issue here with timing and scoring too as well. But back up top, our Porsche Cup car is starting to make it through the back end of the GT4 field. They're going by Roman Bykov, our current 4th place driver in the Cayman class. Just ahead of them, Kent Kruger. Oh, we have to move Jonathan Cooper back into the correct class here again. And, oop, there we go. So Brian's in, starting to open up the gap now over Joseph Meyer. Joseph's going to come into the pits. So interesting. There we go. We got our first driver in for fuel. We'll see if anybody else is going to pop in here, if they're going to be able to make it through without fueling, as we're at the 26-minute mark of this one. Interesting to see here, as that's going to move Daniel Salmon up into 2nd place. But again, we're assuming he's going to need to come into pits because it doesn't look like he's doing much in the way of fuel savings. Now he's having to deal with a charge from Justin Atchison in behind. Last time by, Atchison did a 144.2. Salmon's 144.5. So I think Atchison last couple laps has had a little better pace than what Salmon's had. We can actually just take and show that right here. There we go. So Daniel Salmon lap 14, 1 second or 1/10 slower than Atchison, and then lap 15, the last one they just did, 3/10 slower than Justin Atchison. So Atchison can keep that pace up. He can put a bunch of pressure on Salmon here in a matter of time. But the rain's still coming down. Let's take a quick look here at our weather forecast, see what it's showing here now. The track is lightly wet, so it looks like it's drying out a little bit. It was moderately wet to start the race. So as the cars have been driving on the track, they've been clearing out a little bit of water on the race line, or I guess it'd be the rain line that they're driving, the preferred rain line versus the traditional race line. And let's see where Joseph Meyer came back out after his pit stop. So Joseph came back out in 7th place. He spent, looks like 40 seconds from cone to cone here for Joseph Marr. So let's see, how far back is he from the top of the field right now? Joseph Marr is approximately 22 seconds back. No, sorry, 36 seconds back of top spot. So we'll see where he cycles through. But Brian Lemke in pit road here too as well. He comes in for service. So we're seeing a couple more drivers coming in to get some fuel. Again, I think if they would have stayed tucked in behind somebody, not battling, they might have been able to save enough fuel to get to the end here. But yet to see. But here's Daniel Salmon working through the GT4 field of Kruger and Bykov. Ozek Sulu still out front of this one. He's down now to that gap, only 3 seconds between he and Spencer Bodway in second place. Jonathan Cooper still hanging around about a second back of Bodway, unable to really close that gap. They got tight a couple laps ago when we saw Bodway really had to get on the binders into turn 3. Kind of drove it in deep, locked it up, but wasn't able to get the car turned. Really had to come to almost a complete stop. But since then, it looks like he's been able to open that gap up again over Cooper. But, I mentioned that. It's like Bodway might have just bottomed out a little bit on the curve, but Cooper going to come in for some service. So he in the GT4 class coming. Looks like Atchison, Salmon all coming in too as well. So it looks like the majority of the rest of our Porsche Cup field coming in for some service. Our leader Brian Zinn still out on track. He's heading down the front straight. I guess that's the mid straight or second straight. This track is just a bunch of straights with a couple corners in between, but in and out of turn 3. Zinn currently with a 20-second gap over second place Meager. It's like Meager going to stay out for his service. Oh, he's been in and out. No, sorry, Meager did not come in. It was Salmon, Atchison, and Miller that came in for service. So Joseph Marr has gotten back around them, currently in third spot. So once Jesse Meager comes in for service, if he comes in for service, that should promote Joseph Marr back to second place. So we're still yet to see whether our leader Brian Zinn is going to need to come in for some fuel. Zinn, fastest lap of the race last time by 1:43.24. Oh, sorry, correction. Joseph Marr, fastest lap of the race, 1:43.1. But Zinn last time by 1:43.6. Joseph Marr 1:43.9. So our only two drivers in the 43-second time period right now. Oh, looks like Zinn almost misses pit entry there. It goes wide. So he's going to bring it around for his service. That's going to get interesting here. We'll see. Oh, Joseph Marr, a little bit of a connection issue there from him. And Joseph again with connection issue. So we'll see if that clears up for him. But Brian Lemke trying to work around Jonathan Cooper. Oh, he gets up on the curb, almost loses the back end. Daniel Salmon's going to get promoted back to third place once all of our pit stops cycle through. Jesse Meager heading to his stall here now. Into his box. Here comes Salmon and Lemke and Atchison down the front straight. They should bump back ahead of Jesse Meager as they're passing him by there now. Our GT4 leader, Ozek Sulu, has been passed in the pit cycle by Spencer Bodway. Bodway has taken over top spot in GT4 through the service. Unfortunate stop for Ozek Sulu, 46.7 to 42.7 for Spencer Bodway. So that 3.5 second gap that he had is all gone. And he's dropped down to second place. So unfortunate for Ozek Sulu, had a strong run going here. So he's definitely got the pace. We'll see if he's able to make a move on Spencer Bodway, but time running out. Potentially only maybe 2 more laps in this one before all is said and done. Our leader is Brian Zinn. He was able to go through the pit cycle, come back out in front. He was, let's say, 3/10 quicker than Joseph Marr in and off pit road. So that's going to open that gap up to 1.4 seconds now between he and Marr. See if Joseph's able to find a little bit of pace here the last lap or two to try and mount a charge on Zin up ahead. Richard Swindell's in chat. Who would have thought a Brit would do well in the rain? No kidding. No kidding. He probably spends half his time driving in the rain. And then where did he move, Rich? Into Canada? In probably one of the wettest areas of Canada on the east coast, Nova Scotia. So he spends a lot of time during the day or during his year driving in the rain, no doubt. But speaking of salmon, there he is there. They cross front line. Barney waving the white flags. This is going to be the final lap for our drivers. See them all charging there underneath the driver's stand. Back up to this lead battle. Joseph Martin pushing hard on the last lap. He's taken almost half a second out of that gap between he and Zin, but drove it deep into turn 3, costing a ton of time exiting out. He had that gap down to about 8/10 heading into turn 3, but Zin able to get a much better exit. Opens it back up to 1.1 now. It's going to take an awful lot or a possible mistake here from Brian Zinn for Joseph Marr to close that gap and make a move. Let's take a look back here quickly as Daniel Salmon still trying to hold off Justin Atchison. Atchison closing that gap now, only half a second between he and Salmon. Salmon can't afford to make a mistake here now as Atchison drives it deep into turn 5, really closes that gap down even more. You see that dry line developing on the track here. Driver's going to want to stay in that as much as they can here. Salmon holding tight into the corner, not really losing the back end, babying the throttle back on. Let's go back to our leaders. They head into the final couple corners. If Brian Zing can keep this all 4 tires underneath him here, heading out of turn 10, he'll be able to take this one. Keeps it off the curb. Joseph Martin in behind. Nothing for him in the final lap. Checker flag out. Brian Zinn's going to take round 9 at Red Bull Ring. Joseph Marr will take second spot. Back to the battle for a final step on the podium. Into the final corner. Salmon holding on to this spot. Just got to ease it in and out of that final corner. He's done it. He will hold off Justin Atchison to take final step on the podium. Well done. Well done by Daniel Salmon. Brian Lemke brings it home 5th. Mark Miller blinks out across the line 6th. Jesse Meeker's going to come home 7th. Spencer Bodway is going to hold on to take GT4. Jonathan Cooper got around Ozzik Sulu too as well on the final lap. Unfortunate race for Ozzik. Sulu was looking strong early on. Slower than preferred pit stops. Going to drop him back into 3rd on that one. Rob Felon, our final car on the lead lap, going to bring it home in 12th place. So there we go. That was round 9. Red Bull Ring of the Porsche Cup series. Let's take a quick look at the final results. Let's take a look here at the Porsche Cup side of things first. Brian Zinn's going to bring it home over Joseph Marr and Daniel Salmon. Justin Atchison in 4th place. Brian Lemke in 5th. Mark Miller in 6th. Jesse Meager in 7th. We get into Rob Felon and Morgan Smith a number of laps down. Cottonor and Fazillo did not see the grid. And now over in the Cayman side of things, Spencer Bodway takes the win over John Cooper. Ozzik Sulu falls to 3rd. Kent Kruger in 4th. Roman Bykoff in 5th. And Chris Miller out early on. Okay, looks like we've got a couple drivers in the booth on this one. We'll have a chat with them in a matter of moments here. Okay, let's bring in our race winner, Brian Zinn. Zinn, congrats. You won the rain race, but it looks like it wasn't without any drama as Joseph Marr really pushed on the last lap trying to make a move back around you. But how'd your race go?
Pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, Joseph had a really great race pace for the first half of the race, and I kind of have a look or two depending on what corner we were in. We were running slightly different lines, especially through the middle sector. Yeah, just kind of stayed a little bit more consistent, I think, and made a move, I think, up into turn 3 it was, and just tried to keep building a gap between him and I. So I'm not sure what the pit stop time was. I overfilled the car by a couple laps. I didn't realize how close to the end we were when I came into the pits, but yeah, it was a great battle with Joseph the whole time.
Pit stop time was cone to cone 40.5 seconds, and let's see, in the box itself 6.83 seconds. So you're 2 seconds slower in the box than he was, but 3 second or 0.3 tenths, quicker on and off pit road. So overall, it worked out about the same. But I was kind of curious if you guys were going to be able to fuel save enough to not have to pit with the rain and it being about 12 seconds slower a lap. Was there any chance of that, or was it still too far off?
I mean, it was close. I think from the beginning, I was a couple gallons or so short, and Joseph's pace was just blistering at the start. So I didn't think that I could fuel save enough and still keep in touch with him to try and make it worth it. But yeah, and you know, when I saw him go into the pits, I started fuel saving to get an extra lap out of it, and wasn't paying attention to the time remaining because I came around and on the outlap, I got the call that it was 2 minutes to go, and I was like, holy crap, I didn't realize we were that close to the finish. So yeah, it may have been possible if we reran that race, but I wasn't thinking that way. I was just trying to keep pace with Joseph and see if he made a mistake and then try and capitalize on it.
Well, congrats. We head next week to Interlagos. How you feeling about heading there with the Porsche Cup?
I have a hatred of that track. It's going to be interesting. I've never gotten along there, no matter what car I've driven. I just don't know what it is, but it's a fun track. I hate that they changed the off track where it detects it on that last left-hander before you head down the front straight, so you can't kind of sweep out into the green as much as you used to be able to. But should be fun. I mean, it always races well. I just don't have much pace there, so I'll have to dig deep in my bag of tricks and maybe try a different pitch strategy or something to come out with a good result there.
Well, you'll have to go to school and see what you come up with, Sin. So best of luck next week, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, Rob. See you guys later.
That was our Porsche Cup winner, Brian Zinn. Let's bring in our winner of the GT4 field here, Spencer Beaudoin. Spencer, congrats! You were able to snatch that one. Look through pit strategy over Oz. How'd that work out for you?
It worked out just perfectly. Yeah, it was. Oz had great rain pace. There was no way I could touch him. I thought about fuel saving for a while. I had a good gap behind me with Kent, since he's behind me in points with the standings. And so I thought about it for a while, but then it's like, I remember trying to fuel save last time and I lost too much. So I just stayed on it and knew that I was going to just, you got a good spot in the championship, get a second place finish. But when Oz came into the pits quite slow, and I gained a lot of time right before the yellow cones for the pit speed limit, and that's where I gained my time on him.
Yeah, well done. It looked like you and Coop were kind of working together to close down that gap on Oz up ahead. But next week we head to Interlagos. Seems to be a track, myself, I despise it, but it seems to be a track where people either really like it or really hate it. How do you feel about Interlagos?
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't done a lot of time on it recently. Well, we'll have to see. My goal now is just to keep good pace, stay up on the podium for my points, and hope I can clinch this championship in the mid-pack Larry class.
Good job, Spencer. Congrats on the win, and 3 more races to go to close out that championship for you. Best of luck next week, and we hope to see you up near the top again.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Take care.
Have a great night.
Hey, that was our winner in GT4, Spencer Beaudoin. Let's bring in P2 in the Cup side of things, Joseph Meyer. Joseph, looks like you had a bit of pace to challenge with Brian Zinn out there, but couldn't quite snatch it away from him at the end. How'd your race go from your side of things?
It went pretty well. I'm happy with it. I feel like I had pace for him at the end if I had a handful more laps, but I just ran out of time.
How do you like driving in the rain? It seems to be it's something that drivers either really like or really hate. There doesn't really seem to be much in between. Which side of the field are you on that one?
I don't mind it. I seem to do pretty well in it.
Well, next week, I believe it's supposed to be dry in Interlagos. We talked to Zin earlier. He said he doesn't get along with that track real well. How confident you feeling going into there?
I like the track. I haven't driven it in quite a while, so I'll have to do a little bit of refreshing on it.
Excellent stuff, Joseph. Anybody you want to thank here or shout out before we let you
go? Nope, not really this week.
All right, well, take care. Best of luck to you next week at Interlagos.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that was Joseph Marr, our second place driver. And then let's talk to our biggest mover and shaker of the day, and also P3 in Porsche Cup, Daniel Zippy Salmon. Zippy,
I bet you didn't see that coming, did you?
Actually, Richard Swindells made a good point in chat. He said, go figure, a Brit that is decent in driving in the rain.
What can I say, Rob? I just like it when it's wet, moist. It's just, it works for me.
That's what she said.
It 100% is, but I gotta say, Rob, what an absolutely fantastic race. Like I didn't feel I could go through turn 3 without getting a little bit of a nudge, and then I was carrying a little bit nearer to the instant point limit than I wanted to. And just by some miracle managed to get away with it. Even when I was coming into the pits, it was a case of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss the pits, and then actually managed to get in there. Almost got nailed out of the pits. It did take a little bit too much fuel than I would have liked, but thankfully able to hold on. But what a race. Like Mark Miller as well, like having a battle with him, I was riding his bumper like a temp for a good portion of that. Oh, it was epic. Absolutely epic.
Yeah, the battle at one point in time, the battle went from 3rd place all the way back to 8th. There was maybe 5 or 6 of you in a line, and I don't know how somebody didn't just completely miss the brake marker for turn 3, clear out half is, but well done to that entire group battling. It seemed like somebody would get a better exit out of the corner just to go into the next corner and kind of blow the braking zone. Where look at you tuck the nose into the inside of Mark Miller a couple times, but you weren't quite able to get back into the throttle as soon as you'd like to. The back end kind of wiggled around. So I don't think we ever talked. Are you a fan of driving in the rain or no?
No, not usually. I usually actually in the rain, I make up places by attrition, but I didn't really get any of that today. Like not, it was maybe a little bit, but I didn't see anybody kind of off and, oh, yay, freebie. There was none of that. I felt actually I earned P3 today rather than just kind of inherited it from thing. But I got to say, Jonathan Cooper in that Cayman, I got to thank him a little bit. He didn't do anything wrong, but like with his driving and stuff like that, it just kind of opened up the opportunity. I think we just watched it in the broadcast just so I just kind of went, thank you very much, and absolutely sliced it down the middle. Like, oh, what a beaut. But what a beaut. But no, generally the rain, especially if you think about the rain in the P Cup, I'm like, this is not a good combo. But honestly, you're going to like this, Rob. I felt I actually had some potential here because I've been watching you race it during the week. So once I saw the combo, I'm like, okay, I'll be watching Rob do this, watching the Ballon do this. And yeah, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's rain. Okay, I'm not going to like this. And actually, I'm doing what you were doing, just dropping it down into second, let the nose turn in, upshift it early, and just nice and smooth. But I got to admit, the white lines were not as treacherous as I expected them to be. Definitely you lost grip there, but it wasn't, it didn't spin out. Like going out of turn 3, I was definitely losing time there because I was being overcautious, and I could tell at the end of that I was a sitting duck to Hutchinson. But no, that was fantastic. I'm sorry I sucked to interview in some ways because I'm stoked, like an actual legitimate P3. What just happened?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go and review the tapes just to find out exactly where you were juicing on the track, because definitely you had to have some nitrous in the car there somewhere, but to get up into P3. But Interlagos next week, are we gonna see you out for that one, or is that, I know it's not a Princess approved track, but some people either love it or hate it. I hate it, but how you feel about that one?
I can get round, but I've never had pace there. I've always been miles off the pace. But honestly, I'm kind of hoping it rains at this point. That could be beneficial towards me. And I'm thinking about a race we did watch where we, for at times, saw 4 or 5 wide. I'm thinking I'm going to avoid that strategy. Maybe But in some ways, I was kind of blessed. I thought, oh my gosh, I was so annoyed I ran out of fuel because my qualifying lap was way quicker. And then even I'd posted a try to put in a banker, and anyway, then the thing ran out of fuel. So I'm like, please give us enough fuel to at least do the 4 laps in one hit. And no, I think it kind of worked out. But in the Lagos, I don't know. Like it's a tough track, and you got to carry so much speed, so much momentum, and I've never had any success there. I've a feeling that's going to be the place I'm going to absolutely crumple that beer can. Like Daytona, I thought was going to be a good gig. I was wrong.
Well, it doesn't seem like anybody else I've talked to so far is real confident heading in Interlagos next week. So maybe you get a chance, Zippy, but we'll let you go. I got to quickly go through these incidents here, and then I can get back to watching my hockey game.
Yeah, come on, Leafs. I don't mind. I'll sit in here with the incidents if you want. It's up to you. I don't mind.
It's up to you. Actually, hold on. I don't even have any incidents to go through. Sorry. Time. Yeah, SDK crashed on me with about 10 minutes to go. So all I have is just what happened at the end. It was just a couple off tracks. So there wasn't much that happened this one. There wasn't really any wrecks or crashes. A couple guys going off tracks. I think Morgan Smith had the biggest incident out of the whole race, where he got loose at a turn 3, and then he locked it up at turn 3 and then got loose Xing out of turn 3, and that was about it. So unfortunately, our drivers will have to wait till next week to go through Chaos 3.
I did check with him after the race. I'm like, what happened? He told me he had a couple of instant points, and that was it. Kind of just retired the car. It's just a shame because I was having a lot of fun, given a good bit of pressure. But I'm actually gonna have to go back and watch this broadcast because that was so much fun. And surprisingly, you're thinking wet track, you're thinking it's going to be carnage, but actually we were all much better behaved. So Ken, keep in mind, if it rains, there's less work for the stewards and better podiums for me. There is a mutual interest here.
Well, spoiler alert, the battle from 3rd to 8th features in probably about 75% of the race. So there you go.
I'm down.
All right, Zippy. Best of luck. Talk to you later.
See you later.
Okay, that was a 3rd place, Daniel Zippy Salmon. And as I mentioned, we have no Chaos Theory tonight because SDK crashed at the end. We had to reload it in, and unfortunately it loses all the incidents from earlier on. So congrats to all of our drivers. We will see you next week as we head to Interlagos. As far as I know, it won't be in the rain. I don't think there's any more rain races. Actually, I think maybe Watkins might be a rain race. I'd have to check the official schedule to see, as that's what they're mimicking for the series. But best of luck all our drivers next week, and we'll catch you then. Bye for now.